Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Watch That Joan podcast. As always, my name is Mary.
And I'm James.
So, yeah, happy belated Christmas. New Year's is around the corner, so happy New Year's as well. Did you say your name, James?
Yeah, absolutely said my name.
I didn't remember if I cut you off or not.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Listen, so today we will be reviewing The Color Purple. And as you know, this film was originally a book written by Alice Walker, then became a movie directed by Steven Spielberg, then became a Broadway musical. And the movie that we are reviewing is the film adaptation of the Broadway musical of the same name, The Color Purple.
Yes. So The Color Purple, Alice Walker wrote the book in 1983.
1982, isn't it?
I thought I said 3. But she was the first Black woman to win a Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, wow.
Which is a big deal, especially back in the 80s. So yeah, before going to the theaters, we actually watched the original movie.
We did.
The Color Purple, and it's rough.
Yeah, it's 1982.
82. Okay, she won a Pulitzer in 82.
She won the Pulitzer in 83.
What?
Yeah, the book was in 1982. She won the Pulitzer in 83. That's probably why you got mixed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, the original movie with Whoopi Goldberg, obviously
Whoopi Goldberg as Celie, Oprah Winfrey as Sophia, Danny Glover as Mr.
Yep.
Who else?
I'm not sure who named
who played Suge Avery.
Suge. Yeah, no. Yeah. But it was a lot of good names, big names, and the movie obviously is a masterpiece. And
but let me tell y'all, I was not excited to do this film. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've always kind of hated The Color Purple. Like, I acknowledge that it is a very good film. Like, the pacing, the storytelling, the emotion that it invokes, the performances of the actors, A1. But it is so depressing.
It's heavy. And I think the reason why it's heavy is because it could easily be true.
It is true. It is true for a lot of different people. Unfortunately, even still today, being a Black woman, especially in the early 20s, in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
It's a horrific time, y'all. So a lot of horrific things happen in the movie, and I just would always wonder, why do people call this a beloved film? Beloved by who? Sadists? who? Like I said, I can acknowledge it's a very good film. The storytelling is there. The performances is there. The cinematography is there. It's just, my God, I feel so bad after watching this movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, right, there are other movies that are critically acclaimed that talk about tragedies and, and it kind of goes through like history, and I think this movie started off in 1909, right, in the middle of the Reconstruction era, right, where they were down south, so they were lucky enough to Celie's both father and husband was lucky enough to have land and to be able to provide for a family. They were just terrible men, most likely, because they were raised by men who didn't know how to interact with women, and also they were raised immediately after, like, their fathers, not grandfathers, they were probably born into slavery, right?
Yeah, and it's still that mentality of Black people hating other Black people, especially misogynoir, where Black men specifically hate Black women.
Yep.
And in this movie, the main oppressors of the Black film is Black men.
Yes.
Which is also very sad to see. So it's a very heavy film, y'all. But moving into the 2023 film that we're reviewing, it was directed by Blitz Bazawale. And I'm just going to say, I think Blitz is one of the coolest names you could have.
Yeah, it is.
Like, your name is Blitz, you're fire. So this man is very multifaceted. He is an author. He is a rapper. And he also, have you ever seen Black is King by Beyonce?
I have, because you made me watch it.
Beautiful. So he co-directed Black is King. He also has a book called out called The Scents of Burnt Flowers,
Oh,
which is a novel, pretty much a novel based on this African American family in the 60s who migrate to Africa, you know, because they want a better life there. But then they get there and they realize, oh, like it's the grass isn't always greener on the other side as well. So what's interesting, he said there was kind of a connection between The Color Purple and The Scent of Burnt Flowers, is that it's kind of both about people just trying to find a home,
yeah.
some place to call home.
Yep.
And I think it's similar in The Color Purple, because I think this story focuses around Celie just trying to find a home. I feel like in a sense of safety. She found it in her sister. She found it in Suge, in Sophia. And, you know, just her just always fighting to feel like there's some place where people love her, where she is welcome, where she is celebrated and appreciated. So I thought that was interesting. And Blitz Bazawale, he does an incredible interview with Trevor Noah on The Daily Show. You guys should check it out. But I was like, man, this man he could do everything.
Wow.
he could do everything.
Also, we'd be remiss if we don't mention our girl, the big O, Oprah.
Oprah motherfucking Winfrey, y'all.
Right. She was the executive producer along with Steven Spielberg.
I love Spielberg. There's so many Spielberg. Didn't Spielberg direct Jurassic Park?
Yes, he did.
I love We're Back. Remember that animated film?
I do remember We're Back.
I really like Spielberg, but yes, the big dog, Oprah. The queen. No, the god of interviews.
Yes, she is the
Talk
goat of
shows?
interviews. We just watched this interview where she
I think it was a SAG-AFTRA interview, the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I think that was an interview that we watched. You mean the one where she was sitting down with Fantasia and
yes,
okay,
Fantasia and the rest of the female cast, Taraji B. Harris,
Henson,
Taraji B. Henson, and
Daniel Brooks, and who else was there? And I think it was just
the four of them. Yes, but she called herself the godmother of The Color Purple. You know, because she was obviously a big part in the book becoming a movie, but also I'm not sure how she played a role in a theatric version, but you know, she wanted to be an executive producer in this film. So shout out to Oprah, and her greatness just continues. And she really wanted to tell the story, and along with the rest of the women and the key actresses, right? They wanted to tell the story because it's so important that resilience and getting back up and forgiveness.
Forgiveness. You know. Listen, I got something to say about that later on in the film, but you continue.
Yeah. So let's get started, right?
Let's dive in, guys. Let's dive in. So, where would you like to start?
Yeah, let's start with, I guess, the cast, right? The color.
I can. You want me to pull up the cast list and really?
Yeah, go through Celie and her sister Nettie.
Okay, so Celie, played by Fantasia. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me.
Go ahead and free yourself.
All right. Halle Bailey plays Nettie Harris, aka the Little Mermaid herself.
Yes.
Taraji P. Henson is Suge Avery, aka Cookie. Daniel Brooks is Sophia, and I've seen this woman before.
She's from Orange is the New Black.
She is from Orange is the New Black.
Yes.
I've never watched that show, but she's from something else too.
Yes, that's why I knew her from Orange is the New Black.
Coleman Domingo was Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Coleman Domingo is from something else too that I can't put my foot on, but I've seen this man multiple times.
I've seen him before too. Probably beating on someone else.
And Corey Hawkins is
Harpo, yes, and he is from.
He's Dr. Dre.
He's
from Straight Outta
Dr.
Compton.
Dre, and he's also from In the Heights.
In the Heights, he isn't In the Heights. Oh, this man loves to sing. Apparently,
He does it really well.
This man's
He's very musical.
So one thing that I noticed about when the film opens, and maybe it's a direct callback to the novel, but they were on the shoreline.
They were, and it was like Georgia shoreline, and I realized that in the original movie, I had no idea where it was setting at.
See, that's true too, because I remember when we watched the Spielberg film, we were like,
The OG.
Where are they?
Yes.
Like, are they? Because I know Suge said she was going to Memphis.
Memphis,
so I'm
Tennessee.
like, are they in Tennessee? Somewhere else in Tennessee? But then I remember they were driving and they saw, well, in a newer film, they were driving and they saw a sign that said "Welcome to Tennessee." So I guess you think it's Georgia?
No, it's definitely there was no Georgia shoreline, the Georgia coast,
How do you know?
because that's what the opening scene said, and I took a note of it.
Oh, so it's in Georgia.
Yes,
Oh man, Georgia was a terrible time back then.
it's the deep south.
Yeah.
The Georgia coast is literally the deepest south
Yeah.
of Georgia.
Yeah.
You know.
So when I saw that shoreline, the first thing I thought of automatically, the setting and what's it called, the scene, the set design of this film is a lot less depressing than the original.
Yeah, yeah, and I think one because of technology, they can make it more bright.
But even
Two-
so, you can make things bright. It's a things. I don't even think it's about brightness. It's just that I don't know. Even the house that later on in the film where Celie goes to live with Mister.
Yep.
The house does not look as dilapidated as it did in the Spielberg film.
Yeah.
And like you said, the bright colors did make a difference too. Like it was a lot more saturated than the what year did that film come out? Than the original film. But yeah, you noticed that too, right? That it,
Yeah, it definitely. I felt it brighter, and then when who was the young Celie's name? What was her actor's name?
young Celie is played by, her name is Felicia Pearl Mapazzi.
Okay, so Felicia, right?
Bye, Felicia.
And then Nettie, the young Nettie,
Holly
was played by Holly,
Mm.
right? I originally knew the tone of the movie was different based on their song, right? It just seemed a lot, like you said, a lot.
The song, the opening song where they're like playing the handicap,
Yeah.
the hand clap game.
Yes, and they were on a tree, and then,
Oh yeah, they were sitting on that big beautiful tree on the shoreline. It seemed like this movie was, from the beginning, you felt a sense of hope a little more.
yes. Whereas the original had no hope at all, just all despair.
You felt a little bit of hope until Celie and Nettie's daddy came and said, we gotta go, and we saw that this young girl is pregnant right off the bat.
Yeah.
But even so, it was, I think in the original film they were in the fields, but something, maybe because of me, I love the beach, but something about them being,
On the beach is calming.
yeah, was it a beach? No, I can't remember.
They were on the beach.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, speaking of which, the first opening scene where it was Sunday morning and everyone was going to church.
Yeah.
We saw our girl Tamala Mann.
Tamala Mann, and I was lucky enough to see her sing in person on the Kirk Franklin Tamala Mann reunion tour in Oklahoma City, and this woman takes the house down in person. Just
Yeah.
magnificent.
You should have threw your shoe at her. She sang.
Yo, she sang, right?
Yeah.
And I love the gospel feel, right? I caught myself dancing instantly
It was.
in a theater. We saw it together.
But that was one thing about it. Tamala Mann, she sung, but I'm just like, I felt like all throughout the movie, these songs should have been longer. You got Tamala Mann. You have Fantasia. You have Halle Bailey. You have her. These songs should be longer. I should be getting freaking at least 3 minutes. Maybe that's a little longer, but I felt like Tamala Mann, she only sung one time in the whole movie.
Yeah.
You have Tamala Mann.
Yeah, that's the one. They made a soundtrack that accompanied the movie.
Okay, let me
Because-
see if I can find the song.
Because of all of these powerful singers, right? So that's why they made the soundtrack. Also, this was a type of musical, but also
Okay,
had,
so sorry. So yes, they start off and you said that Celia and Nettie were
Yes.
singing a song called Huckleberry Pie.
yes,
Very cute on the beach. The song we're talking about with Tamala Mann is Mysterious Ways.
yes.
And I just feel like let me see how long this
God works in a mysterious way.
this song. Oh, they're saying this song is 3 minutes and 23 seconds. It didn't feel like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting something.
Well, because the choreography and the dancing and the lights and everything, and like
I
just
just
the way
didn't
they
feel
did
like
it.
I experienced the full Tamala Mann experience. I wanted her to sing her belly out. And maybe I'm forgetting something, but yeah. The choreography was incredible though.
Yeah, absolutely.
The costumes were incredible during that song. It made me excited for church.
Yes,
I was like, man, there's nothing like a black church.
nothing like it.
Nothing like it, you know?
No, because it has the hope to it, the family to it,
Yeah.
the groove, and they were grooving in church too, and it was a good time. It was fun.
And when you think about it, back in the day, what else you got to look forward to besides Sunday morning?
they literally, it's called your Sunday best because the slaves had no clothes, but they had to look nice on church Sunday.
Yeah. Most times, yeah, the slaves would not have to work on Sundays. That's a one day they get to go to church. They get to wear some nice clothes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe they get treated a little better.
A little better. Just a little bit, though.
Your day gets a little better on Sunday. Just a little better. Wow.
That's graphic. Okay. So,
I lost my train of thought. Where was it at?
yeah, me too.
Listen, y'all, we saw this movie one time. So we didn't have the yesterday
Yes.
yesterday at almost 10 p.m.
So we're also a little remiss. So apparently this movie opened on Christmas Day, and it was the biggest Christmas Day movie opening in like the past 14 years.
Really?
Yeah, it was gross, hugely popular, and I'm really excited about it because of the musical. Like I said, the singing made it feel hopeful, right?
Yeah, but did
the
you
plot
like the
didn't change
tonal?
necessarily?
Did you see the tonal change as a welcoming change, or did you kind of want the dreariness of the original?
No.
Okay.
No. Eileen and I was talking. It was like, yo, this is as heavy as the original. I'm just going to be miserable. Because the original, like I said, I get it. Sometimes you need to just watch traumatic things. I understand.
You don't want to water down people's experiences because
Yes.
that's really how they want you to
don't-
feel it. And
you
I
wanna
get it.
feel it,
I get
yes.
it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to watch it over and over again.
That's a one-time watch. Like, dag, yo, they went through that. That sucks for them, but I want to go witness it again. But this one was the type of movie that I will watch again, right? Because I think I like the relationship of Celie and Nettie when they were younger. I thought the relationship was really good. I thought that
One thing that I noticed about, well, continue what you're saying.
I thought that Holly did a great job.
Holly always
Nettie.
eats. But one thing I noticed about Holly's portrayal of Nettie, that's different from the original actress that played Nettie. Well, one thing that I thought in the original film, young Celie and young Nettie actually looked alike.
That's true. They didn't look alike at all.
They didn't look alike at all. And I get the reason. I get the reason for this because they looked like they had two different daddies. I'm like, Nettie was considered the prettier
They
one.
had two different daddies.
No. They looked like they had two different
They
daddies.
did, yes.
Nettie was considered a prettier one, but in the older film, Nellie and Celie, they were on like the same complexion. Mm-hmm. Where Felicia and Holly are two different shades. It
Yes.
reminds me of there's this episode of Family Guy where you know how Peter does his little like flashbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
Yep. With
He's
the color test, right?
no, he's with the Cosbys.
Oh.
And he looks around and he's like, why are y'all all different shades of black? Because when you look at Bill Cosby and you look at Denise, it's like, what's going on?
What's
Felicia
going
Rashad
on?
is light, but she's not that light. Then you
Yeah.
look at Rudy, it's like, huh? But it reminded me of that. And I get it because it's like, even so today, colorism is still very prevalent.
It is.
So the lighter you are, the closer you are to being attractive.
Yeah.
But I still felt like, I was like, okay, at least in the old one, they were both the same complexion. They actually looked like sisters, but you could tell one was considered to be more conventionally attractive than the other. Mm-hmm. But I love Halle Bailey.
Yeah.
And Felicia killed it too. So I wasn't upset, but I was like, this is a little, it's a lot noticeable, more noticeable. And one thing I noticed about Nettie is that she's a lot more headstrong than Nettie in the original film.
Yes, she was. The original film, Nettie was headstrong.
She was headstrong, but Nettie seemed to be more of the older sister in my mind. And maybe that's because Nettie was the one who was going to school when Celie was hanging back.
Oh yeah, because Celie was pregnant and she had another baby.
Yeah. But even in that tragic freaking scene in the first movie where Mr. rides up to Nettie on the horse and she is that scene. Oh my God, I'm talking about the original movie, but the scene, Nettie's going to school. Literally looked like she's walking through the wilderness. There is nobody else around. She's going to school, and then Mr. rides up on a horse, and he literally tries to rape her. But before he grabs her, she's just like, I gotta go to school. And she's still trying to be polite, even though she's terrified.
Yeah, exactly.
And she eventually fights her way out of that situation. But you clearly see just how vulnerable Nettie is in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking to see because this is just a girl trying to get to school and she's just like begging with him, I gotta go to school. Where in the newer film, yes, Nettie's lying in her bedroom and then Mr. comes. This is when when Nettie moves in with Celie and Mr.
Yep.
Nettie's lying in her bedroom and Mr. comes in and he tries to take her there. He's like, come on, girl, he's like, come on, girl, I always had feelings for you. And she's like, I don't feel the same. And then she kicks him in the crotch.
Yeah.
There's the difference there.
Yeah.
yes, Nettie's still in a very vulnerable position. She's still terrified.
But she instantly fought back.
She fights back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not a sort of trying to, and I'm not blaming Nettie at all in the original. I'm not saying this is a bad thing.
No, I get
but it's
what
not
you're
an
saying.
original. You know how sometimes when, I don't know, people are doing you wrong, but you still feel like the need to be apologetic and still trying to.
Also, the situation is a little different too.
Okay.
Because when Nettie, the new Nettie, is in the bedroom.
Holly's Nettie.
Holly's Nettie is in the bedroom, and when Mister comes into the bedroom, it's obvious he's going to rape her. It's obvious he's going to attempt. Is no ambiguity at all what that man wants.
Okay.
When she's following with the horse, there's still a little ambiguity. She's still
Okay.
on high alert, but she could think he's hitting on her or floating or whatever. But then she gets that's why when he jumps off the horse and grab her, that's when she starts like giving the alert or whatever. And then in the woods, that's when she actually had to go and fight, because that's when, you know what I mean, the
Yeah.
threat raised up. Versus you in your bedroom and a grown man comes into your bedroom, just
Yeah.
you and him.
Yeah.
You instantly have to turn to that fight. So I think just the timing of it,
Yeah.
of that.
No, the settings does make a difference. But both scenes are harrowing, but I feel like the first scene is just, do you notice in the first movie, do you notice Nettie's face after she fights him off and she's just screaming and running? She looks traumatized.
Yeah.
She looks like she's gone into a primal state where it's like, I am fighting for my life.
And she was.
Yeah, she didn't look present. She was just screaming and flailing her little lunch basket and running away like a mad woman. And it's like, because that's a maddening experience.
Exactly. I agree.
That's you are. And she was probably like, what? I think Celie had to be around 14, so she was younger. She might have been 13 years old.
Yep.
Woof, child. And that's what I mean, kind of like
The heaviness.
the heaviness. I was like, y'all like this movie, but even though the heaviness, it's, and I don't wish that the original film was more heavy. Not the original film. I don't wish that the newer adaptation was more heavy, Blitz's version. I just wish the film took its time a little more. Because I feel like for this scene in particular, where Mr. tries to rape Nettie and kicks her out, that scene went by kind of quickly. Where the original film, to me, it felt like it lasts forever.
She got away, and then
She
when
ran
she got
back
away,
home. Yeah.
ran back home. Then Mister came up and threw her out.
He literally had to fight, like her. Celie and Nettie were holding on to each other, screaming. He's prying them apart, pulling them and dragging them, and get like literally hitting their hands so they couldn't lock on to each other. And when he throws Nettie out, she's like, "Rights, what do you say? Rights." And that it's just, I feel like the pacing was better.
Yeah.
And plus, also, I feel like it was better established in the original movie, their connection to writing. Because, you know, they showed more of Nettie showing Celie how to read. I don't know.
That's true.
I feel like, not to keep talking, I feel like with times in this movie, it feels as though they rush through scenes because they know we already know what's happening and we already saw it.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, we know what's happening, but this is your adaptation. Treat us like we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought that, one, I enjoyed this movie more because we just recently saw the original, and I wasn't trying to have two depression nights in the same week. Right? But also, to your point, I think that they at the like the total of the movie, right? The original movie, right? It was more so about resilience. And
The original
was about resilience and fighting back, and eventually God will bless you over long suffering. This movie was those same tenets too, but a fourth one that was forgiveness, right? Because that forgiveness part, you know, that part was not really evident in the original. In the original, right? Celie, when we jumping all around. But,
it's fine. Listen, you know how we do by now, listener.
Yes. So the original one, that forgiveness is not as apparent as this one. We can kind of so yeah. So basically So I think if Mister would have ripped and pried her as graphically away as possible. Versus right now, he had a gun to her. He said, "I'll kill you both."
Oh, he did. That is true. He did have a gun.
He had a shotgun.
He did have a gun.
He
I
had a
forgot
shotgun
about
and
that.
pointed
Yeah, I
right
guess you
at
don't
her.
have to do that much when you have a gun.
Exactly. We have a shotgun that escalates it immediately.
Yeah, but it still didn't seem as. It still didn't seem as graphic.
This nigga shot in the air.
Yeah.
And pointed at her and said, "I'll kill you, and I'll kill you if you talk to her."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was one graphic enough.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I saw the scene. I'm like, dag, yo, like.
Yeah.
First, I was wondering in the beginning, because the house didn't look as bad as the original. I'm like, oh, are they gonna kind of like make Mr. nicer? But then I realized they can't. That's the whole point.
But he
Blitz has to be this dark villain.
Blitz did say something about it. The director, he said that he tried to humanize.
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah, and that's why I got that they tried to humanize him, and I think they had to get the message across, because the original Mr., he was a sociopath.
He was irredeemable. Is that the word?
Yes.
Irredeemable?
Yes. Sure.
Irredeemable. Yeah. Irresponsible, irredeemable. He was irredeemable.
Yes.
Like, he was just the most disgusting beast that ever crawled out of the furthest depths of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very miserable man, and misery loves company. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I just and I tried to come into this film without being like, oh, it's not like the first one. But like I said, I still feel like we were treated kind of like, oh, you've seen this before. You know what happens. And they kind of rush things. And one thing that can ruin a movie for me, not saying this movie was ruined, but bad pacing can really take me out of a movie. And you notice it immediately when a movie is paced poorly. I'm not saying it was just some moments I was like, really take the time to really develop this. Like, we're going forward, but when you think about Suge Avery, once again played by Taraji. And you know what's funny? Taraji didn't want to perform Suge at first. She turned it down. Because, Suge is
promiscuous.
What is it called? Is she a burlesque dancer? Is she a flapper girl?
A flapper girl, yeah, one of those, yeah. So not really.
And she
a
sings.
prostitute,
She sings. And Taraji.
I didn't even know Taraji sung like that.
That's why Taraji turned it down. Taraji, she was not confident in her skills as a singer, especially going up against Fantasia, Haley Bailey, freaking Tamala Mann, and her.
Yeah, exactly.
She felt a little insecure about it. She said she didn't realize that she could sing a little bit to Hustle and Flow. So, but she said she had to get out her own way. And she said when Blitz told her that in this adaptation, because she, like I told you before, when what's her name? When Taraji first heard about this movie, she literally said, "Why the fuck y'all doing this movie again?" She's like, "Why y'all doing this?"
And to be honest with you, I thought the same thing.
I thought it too.
When
I was
saw
like, let it die.
I'm like, why are we bringing back this abuse again? Like, we all know.
Just dark-skinned woman
just
getting shitted on.
Like, just called ugly every day.
Celie just getting called ugly and beat and raped and just, oh my God.
Like, even in original, and that's the thing, they kind of wore it down. Original, when Celie first came to the farm, when she was sold off.
She first came to Mr. Yeah.
Right? The little kid was like, "You ain't my mama," and threw a rock at her head.
Was that Harpo?
That was, maybe it was Harpo.
That probably was bad Harpo.
And almost knocked her unconscious. She's out there with a whole concussion.
Yeah. But she was literally bleeding out of the side of her head.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taraji was like, "Why are y'all doing this movie again?" But when Blitz called her and he said, "This is going to be different because we're getting Celie an imagination."
Yes.
That's what put her on board. And who else? There was someone else Fantasia.
Yep. Fantasia. She didn't want to do it either.
It was just crazy to me because when we saw The Color Purple on Broadway, it was Fantasia.
It was Fantasia, exactly. And Fantasia didn't want to do it again because, one, she did it for so long, probably. She probably was sick of it, to be honest with you. But two, she didn't want to be in the film that large because she's not really an actor. She's a singer.
Right. This is her first major film debut.
And she'd be the first major film debut.
Even though I imagine that theater is harder than movies.
I know, but I guess it depends.
Because it's right there. You know what I mean? There's no cuts, there's no edits. You're performing right there to your audience.
Yes. But at the same time, you have I don't know. It's the audiences are smaller. He has to do it a lot of times, but audience is smaller. I can understand Fantasia is like, why would I want to go in my first acting movie and be?
They said they were doing 8 shows a week.
I know, but I'm saying, why would I go want to be a movie in the this first big screen movie, and all they gotta do is call me ugly for 2.5 hours of it? So I would get that too, just like.
Which is it's wild seeing Fantasia in this film and people calling her ugly.
Yo, even
it's
like
what?
Felicia wasn't ugly at all either. I'm like, none of these Celia's are ugly.
None of them were ugly. Whoopi is not ugly.
Whoopi's not ugly either.
She just dark skinned. She just dark.
What the dad said when Mr. came together.
Oh my God.
He was like, she was ugly as homemade sin. Yo.
Yeah, he was like, I want to marry Nettie.
Fell out my chair.
He was like, you can marry Silly. She's as ugly as homemade sin.
Homemade.
We literally cracked up in that theater. I said, wow.
Like just they hatred. Homemade.
Just call her an abomination. That says homemade sin.
Like I almost fell out, yo.
But yeah. So yeah, when they said they're going to give Celie an imagination, that's really what put Taraji and Fantasia on board for this film. And do you remember, what did you think about young Celie's song? Let me see if I can pull up the name.
She sung really well. She sung so well that I looked out.
She Be Mine. When she saw Olivia.
Oh yeah, when she saw the baby.
She saw Olivia. Yeah.
She Be Mine.
So I'm wondering, in the original film, was that shop where she saw Olivia, was that her father's shop?
I don't think so. In the original film, that was just a white man's shop.
That was a white man's shop.
The white man was just cutting the fabric.
Yeah, that is true, because he kept asking her, you gonna buy something, girl?
You gonna buy something? You gonna buy something, girl?
He popped out of nowhere like, you gonna buy something, girl? And then she ran away, remember?
Yeah, but no, in this one, it was her father's shop.
It was her father. And maybe that's how it is in the book, but that's another thing where it's kind of like every little thing is a little more uplifting.
Yeah, because her father actually had money, right?
He's a business owner. He's a business dick, owner. But he's a business owner.
He's a business owner, right? And they don't even, like, when she was pregnant, he was like, the baby's mine. I can do whatever I want with it, right? And then they said later on, that's my daddy's baby. Well, it wasn't as obvious and apparent as the first movie was like, yeah, I got 2 kids by my dad.
She said it right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
And I gagged.
This was subtle. A little more subtle, but they still let you know that the rape and incest happened.
Yeah. So when what did you think about young Celie's song She Be Mine? I think visually it was beautiful. It was just so short though. It just seemed so short to me. It's like I blinked and the song was over.
Yeah, I thought so. I was a few things when
Do you want me to read some of the lyrics?
Yeah, but it was a few things when she would start singing.
Okay.
One, I was like, yo, she can sing really well. But the second one I thought was, if you really think that baby is yours, why don't you go punch a lady in the face and take your baby?
Because she is a negress. What do you think is going to happen if she go around stealing babies?
Yeah, that's also true.
This is crazy. She said, here's the lyrics of She Be Mine. I see my baby girl. Can't be no one else. Looking just like me and my daddy. That's your sister, baby.
That's your sister, baby.
No words when I saw myself. I see her hands on a lady's shoulder. She come out of me chewing her fist. She got my eyes and a face I done kissed. I saw Olivia on her ditties, little stars and flowers too. I know she sees same things I do. Oh, the Lord done sent me a sign. Oh, I know she be mine. When I see mamas holding babies, I feel pain come across my heart, something deep inside, before being torn apart, like a spell come on my body. My baby's breath on me. She gonna carry her away, but I still see. She be mine, she be mine, she be mine.
I remember the visual of that now, of her walking, or all the other mothers like washing their clothes.
Yeah, they had their washboards and they were washing their clothes, and then they did this whole dance with like whatever the garments they were washing, a lot of twirling, and there was like a waterfall behind her, right?
Yep.
I can definitely see how Blitz co-directed Black is King. Because every song looked like a music video. Like the quality of the choreography, the costumes, the mood setting. It's giving music video.
No, I agree.
It's just, I feel as though his songs weren't written like songs for theater though.
What does that mean?
They seem more like R&B and gospel songs. Like when you think about theater writing, it's very based on the specific situation that the character is going through.
Like it helps tell the story. You're saying that the songs didn't help tell the story that well.
And it's very specific. It's very, like when you think about Wish, some of the songs are like huh? Like they were kind of, they seemed, I guess it seems a little bit too generic. Whereas theater, that's like, no, like we're talking about this specific thing happening to this character.
But I thought Celia was singing about her baby, not like
I know,
any
not
old
every
baby.
song, not every song, but even when I look at this song, yeah, this song is a bad example. It is written like that, but some songs, it just feel like the song that Celie sung towards the end of the movie where she's leaving her store, Fancy Pants. She sings a song and I'm like, I want to feel connected to this song, but it still sounds a bit generic to me.
I think you're a tough critic.
Maybe that's why I started a podcast.
Exactly.
But it's just like I feel like there was a missed opportunity with the song. And plus I feel like there wasn't enough singing overall. Like I feel like this movie couldn't decide if it wanted to commit to being a musical.
Yeah, so like I think I might have said it earlier, but musicals like Hamilton, every word was sung, right? Whereas this musical, it was like what, 50-50?
And the songs they
60-40?
did chose, I was like, really? Y'all made a song for this? Like Harpo's song. Remember when
he was building his house?
he built Sophia and him a house on a swamp, and they had a song for that. And I like the song. I love the visuals. That whole dance sequence.
Yeah.
It was great. I was like, this is great. But I'm like, y'all made a song for this, but I feel like y'all should have made a song about Suge and her father and what happened between them. I feel like there were like, there are a lot of missed opportunities. There should have been a song. I feel like when Nettie was kicked out of Mister's house, there should have been a song
She sung a little bit.
describing that.
She sung a little bit.
Did she? Let me see. What?
Yeah, she sung that I'll write you every day. She said I'll write you. It's like the part I'll write you every day until I'm dead. She said that, and then I thought she sung and she ran away.
I don't remember. No, let me see.
I might have made that up.
So, okay, Mysterious Way, She Be Mine, Keep It Moving, Working. Hell, no, I don't see no songs, unless there's some songs that's not on the soundtrack. But cause let's see, Nettie got kicked out of the house when she was a child. So She Be Mine, Keep It Moving.
Let's keep it moving.
Keep It Moving. I think that's when Celia and Nettie go into town. That's right before Nettie gets kicked out. Remember they go into town and look at hats when they should be collecting firewood. Yeah, there was no song. I don't think there was any song when she got kicked out. And it's like, this is such an emotional moment. You're not going to see your sister for decades.
Yeah, literally.
Let's express this through song.
Yeah.
It wasn't. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunities like that where I'm like, y'all, it's like you're not committed to this being a musical, and all this dialogue can be, I was looking forward to when they said it's giving the silly imagination. I was like, man, we get to see how she hear and see how she feels through the voice of freaking Fantasia.
Yeah.
And feel all that pain.
No, you're right. Because the most passionate song that I think that she had was she was singing about how much she loved Suge.
That was a cute. That when they went to the theater and they had I did like that song. That song was very cute. I like that song.
But you're right.
Yeah.
She didn't do like even if the first time she got smacked.
Yeah.
And she turned around and sung about that.
Think about all the other musical. Think about Dreamgirls, right? Mm-hmm. Think about Hamilton. Think about, I don't know, even a Disney song. When stuff happens, when deeply traumatic things happen, they sing about it, and you know how they feel. I feel like there were a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah, I think one is just the length of the movie.
It should have been longer.
It was the runtime. I think it was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It should have been longer.
I think people just have
a movie like this.
Yeah, maybe
like this. It should have been longer. It should have been longer. I feel like it should have been longer. There's so much to say. There's a lot happening. Yes, this is a big project, but you know that you knew that.
Yeah.
You know it's a color purple.
No, you're right. I do agree with you that there was more singing opportunities. I think that they did the mix of the dialogue with the singing. I did enjoy the songs they did sing, right? And the choreography I thought was amazing.
The choreography was A1.
Like
it was
when
spectacular.
Like when they did the song,
the costumes too.
Suge song when Suge came
when
up.
Suge came to town.
Yeah, she was on a boat.
That was fine. She was the boat. She was in the car.
No. I was talking about her opening night at the.
Oh, when she's
at the
first
Juke.
coming. Well, let's go. What do you think about when she first not her first performance, but what pushed the button? What do you think when she first came into town?
Oh, I thought that was dope.
That was beautiful.
Yes.
I wanted every song to be like
yes.
There was, and I feel like that could have been longer too. You know, I liked how they had people running through the town saying, "Suge's coming, Suge's coming, Suge's coming." But when it got to Mister, all he said was "Suge's coming," and I'm like, Mister, you've been pining for Suge Avery for this long. He should have had a whole. He should have been first.
Yeah.
Why don't we hear from Mister? This is supposed to be the love of your life.
Yeah.
The reason why you beating Celie supposedly is because she is not Suge. Why didn't Suge have? Why did Mister
more of an impact?
Yeah.
No, you're right. I think.
And it don't matter if he can't sing. We know musical works. Even if the character can't sing, it works because it brings character to the person singing.
Yeah.
Like think about I always say this, but think about Danny DeVito singing in Hercules.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito can't sing, but it works because his character, it matches the character.
Yep. No, you're right. I thought that the Suge entrance was good because it showed that she was famous and she was coming
she was that girl.
She was that girl. You know what I mean? Like she was super famous.
How did you think about Taraji's performance of Suge as opposed to I'm sorry, I do not know the woman's name. As opposed to the original lady.
So I think I like the original lady more.
Why is that?
I think she could sing better. But
could you think so?
Yes, I do. I think she sung a little better.
Oh, I gotta think. Yeah, when I'm thinking about the ending scene when she finally talks to her dad and she sings, they all go to church.
Yeah.
Speak to me, Lord, or. Mm-hmm. Okay, continue.
Yeah, like Taraji could sing. She can.
Yeah, she admits she's not a singer.
Yeah, but
she got a good voice.
Singing is not the main thing that she does, right? But no, I thought Taraji, she looked a little older in this movie. And I mean,
she's not a spring chicken.
No, she's not. What makes sense. But no, I thought she did I thought she did her version of Suge was a lot more sympathetic to Celie than the original version. Because the original version, he saw her, looked in the face, and says, "Oh my God,
is ugly."
You sure is ugly."
And took herself out laughing.
Yes, and she didn't call her ugly once.
She made a face.
She made a face. She made a stank face when she was in the bath and she saw her.
And she first got a look at Celie. Her face was like, ugh.
Yeah, her face said
But that's so Taraji, though.
Yeah,
that's so Taraji.
She gave her the stank look. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, she, I don't know. I like the way she did it.
I feel Taraji was fantastical. She's Taraji, but I feel like I do. And like I said, listen, I know I said I wasn't going to go tit for tat from the original film and this film, but I'm doing it anyway. Fight me. But I did like the original Suge more too.
Yeah, I thought he
had a sense of regalness, a sense of poise.
Yeah, poise.
She just seemed more poised. There's something about her.
Taraji does also seem bougie too. She did a good job of being bougie.
Well, I don't even mean like bougie. I just mean like Taraji Suge was very, very sassy. You know what I mean? Very more physical, you know. Nothing wrong with that. But Suge had like a mystery to her and like a magnetism because of that mystery and because of that way she carried herself. Like I remember after Celie and Nettie first like had they fling in the original movie, Celie was like, Suge's like honey and I'm a bee. And you just saw Suge walking away to the church to see her father, and you kind of felt the same way. There was something about her, like she just kind of just. Suge is honestly kind of like a manic pixie dream girl.
A what?
Do you know what that is?
I have no idea.
That's a movie trope. It's a movie trope that's like, it was really prevalent in like the 2010s, and like it's pretty much a girl who comes in and. Well, no, Suge isn't. She's not that. This is me vastly underestimating Suge, but this is what she reminds me of. It's a girl who comes into a story and she's very eccentric, and she comes to her only purpose is to really improve the life of the protagonist, who's normally a male, like a plain boring male. She comes in. You know who's actually a manic you ever seen Fight Club? You've seen Fight Club. Brad Pitt in Fight Club is a manic pixie dream boy. He doesn't really exist. He just comes in, and the main protagonist of Fight Club is this man who's very bored with his life. He's very sad, and he's like this weird dude who comes in and just shows him all this new shit. And then at the end, normally in the Manic Pixie Dream Girl arc, she either dies or moves away, or in Fight Club, just a figment of your imagination.
Yeah.
Suge kind of gives that, even though people don't like the trope because a Manic Pixie Dream Girl doesn't have her own ambitions. Suge does, but she kind of reminds me of that. She's someone who's unattainable, who comes in like a whirlwind in your life and just opens your life up to so much creativity and a different point of view and gives your life so much excitement. And she has mystery about her.
Yeah.
I'm not calling her a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. That's a gross underestimation of Suge, but I'm just giving an example.
No, I thought that was a good example.
I don't get that sense. Taraji's more. I don't get that sense of mystery with Taraji a little bit more. With Taraji's depiction, she gives me more of an auntie that you adore, who's going to protect you and fight for you, who don't take no shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't see the same mystery as I did with the original Suge Avery.
No, that's true. But also, I think I didn't like I don't know. I think that Taraji's Suge was more likable.
She was more approachable. She was friendlier.
Approachable.
She was not. But that's what I mean. That's why the fact that here the original Suge Avery called Celie ugly, but then she's kissing her. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're very hard to read.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I said a lot, so I'm just like I feel like I talked for a very long time. That's why, like, let me stop cutting you off and let you talk.
No, I agree.
I said a lot. Yeah, I said a lot.
So we haven't touched on one of my favorite characters
in
the movie, and that is Sophia.
Yes. Sophia.
I thought Sophia.
She's my least favorite because I fucking hate her storyline.
Well, you hate the storyline.
Yes.
But the character, Sophia.
Yeah, I love the character. Yeah.
I guess so.
I love Sophia.
So you're kind of right in both, and I feel the same way for both. Right. One, I thought that what's her name again?
Danielle Brooks. Let me double check.
Right? I thought that she played Sophia very well, and that's also very hard to do because Oprah did the original.
Oprah ate.
Oprah did the original. Right?
Ate. When Oprah first comes in the scene of Sophia, walking all heavy footed and puffing around, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a woman. This is a woman.
Yes. Yes. And that's what Danielle tried to do. And I thought she did a really good job of it.
Do you think it was, you think she brought her own life to it, or you think she was just imitating Oprah's depiction?
Well, I thought she did her own thing to it because one, I saw her in Orange is the New Black, and she has that bubbly sort of personality always happening.
Bubbly.
Yeah, like
I guess she's a little bubbly. She's in a good mood.
She like, hey, Miss Celie. All right, and she over there and she loves.
I like her laugh.
Yeah,
yeah. You're right. She did have a laugh to her and the sort of like charisma to her, where Oprah's was just more huffy.
Yeah, and they also showed more of a romantic relationship with her and Harpo or Harpo. More with Harpo than they did in the original. Because this actually showed like obviously the original they had him introduce her to her daddy, right? But they were actually like look like they loved each other. The first time you meet Sophia is when Harpo brings her to Mister and says, "Hey, this is my woman, and I'm having a baby with her," right? Basically asking his permission, his blessing, or so. And Mister obviously didn't give it to her. He's like, she's not worth it. But I felt like their relationship actually showed like a actual decent relationship until until we talk about that, but until they started getting violent. But yeah, I thought Sophia did really well. I thought that like she stormed off, and just the way like she was kind of just stomping around and just looking angry, but also just bubbly and just wanted, I don't know, just I just thought she did really well. I thought she did really well in the role.
No, I
even though
did
her
see.
storyline, like you were saying, is tragic.
Yeah.
And her going that arc with the ice cream. Ooh, you heard me make a loud audible sigh
Yeah,
when
we
the
were
whole
like, oh
thing
my god.
when the whole thing was happening, because I was
Yeah, but I do agree with you. I do feel like there was more. Their relationship was. In this movie, they seem like that toxic couple that can't live with each other and can't live without each other.
yes,
A little more. Remember when Celie came over to Harpo and Sophia's house, and Sophia said, "Harpo, bring us some tea," and he brought cold tea, and she started yelling at him, and she was like, "I just want some hot tea," and he was like, "You my hot tea," and then they kissed.
yeah, exactly.
And I was like, they do seem like more like, there's sugar and salt.
You understand more why they work versus the first movie was, I got this girl pregnant, we think we love each other, but
She's running all over me.
she's running over me and everything.
And it's still the same. Harpo still want to control her. He said, I want to tell her to jump, and she said, how high? And Celia was like, maybe she's not a jumping woman. And I was
Exactly.
like, period. But he still wanted to control her. That sense was still there, and he got that from his father, and his father got that from his father, and it's just generations of bullshit and misogyny. But it's like, you're right. There was more a sense of, yeah, we have really bad times, but there's also a lot of love here too.
Exactly. And the key part with when they were going through it and they first got married, and when Harpo came to Celie and asked her, "What do I do with her?" And you're right. The first thing he said, maybe, I want her to jump, and he said maybe she's not a jumping woman, and she kept talking. She's like, "Okay, well, you maybe beat her," and she suggested beating her, and then Sophia came and said, "Why'd you tell Harpo to beat me?" And one of the biggest change, it seems subtle, was that she said, "Because I was jealous."
Yeah, Celia did not say that.
Celia did not say that. Before, like in the original one, she was like, "I was jealous and you could do stuff that I can't."
She never said she was jealous in the original.
No, she didn't.
Oh.
In the original, I assume she told her to beat her because she knew no better.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's what she was around. And she's like, "I listen to my husband because he beat me.
Yeah.
Maybe if you beat her, she'll listen to you." That's simple, like simpleton, just all around logic.
No, for real. It makes sense. It's like,
makes sense.
this is how you keep a woman in line. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Right? But this is now saying, because I was jealous, show the different type of dynamic of Celie. Right? Show that, oh crap, Celie has an attitude. She could be a little vindictive too, right? And she doesn't just accept the world around her.
Yeah.
Right? She just like, I know that this isn't normal because I can see it from other people. Whereas the original series thought it was normal.
I don't have the courage to stand up to Mr. and be like you. Someone said, I'm going to make you like me.
Yes.
Exactly. And at first I was like, when she said that, I was like, that's not how Celie really feel. Music on my phone just started playing on its own. That was very scary. Ah. That's hilarious. But yeah, at first I was like, that's not what happened. You guys are making stuff up. But then I were like, you know what? You're right. This is your adaptation.
Yep.
This is Blitz adaptation, and that's still a very powerful thing.
It is
a very powerful reason. You are jealous. That's deep. But yeah. How did you feel about? Let me see the name of the song, because Oprah's legendary line, "All my life I had to fight."
Yep.
Did you feel that it hit the same in the song "Hell No"?
So I liked that song, Hell No.
Okay.
I thought it was catchy, and I caught myself dancing to it.
Catchy.
Yes, and I thought it had the attitude, like.
But was it as powerful?
No, because that's the one you can't. I think what you're trying to. That's the same thing with the girls getting kicked out. You know how you have fun one weekend, and you're like, oh, let's go get the same people, go the same time, the same place, and it's not the same because some things you can't recreate. And I think they understood that we might not be able to recreate this as well as the original, but we could do our own version of it.
I have to disagree with you. I think it's very, not create the moment, but I think it's possible to make something just as powerful, especially with song. Like maybe I put too much emphasis on the power of song, but songs with a voice like hers. Let me see some of the. I'm gonna read some of the lyrics a little bit and see. This is Hell No. All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy, had to fight my brothers, my cousins, and my uncles too. But I never thought I had to fight my own house. I feel sorry for you, to tell the truth. You remind me of my mother, under your husband's thumb, under your husband's foot. What do you say go? Why you scared? I never know. But if a man raised his hand, hell no, hell no. I don't know. It don't hit the same. It's to me it's good, but it sounds kind of surface level. It sounds not musical. It sounds to me like an R&B song about a woman leaving her man. I don't know. It sounds like it's not given that same level in depth as a musical number, in my opinion. It sounds like, girl, I'm fed up with my man and he not gonna hit me no more. Let's get out of here. Help. And it's like, and I get it. I feel like they were trying to bring a little more comedy to the song. And maybe I'm just looking for something else. I disagree with you, but I feel like you don't have to recreate the moment, but it could be just as powerful, even more powerful, because you're singing it. Yes, Oprah killed that. It's iconic. Like Oprah, just her delivery. Like even when she's at the table towards the end of the movie at Easter dinner and she's just there rocking back and forth after she's been in prison for 6 years and she hasn't seen her kids in forever.
Yeah.
She seems so broken.
Yep.
And when she said, all my life I had to fight, that's the sound. She's just fed up. She's like, ain't nowhere in the world I've been putting up with this. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's just different.
I'm not doing it in my own house.
And I didn't get that from the song. The song seemed fun, but maybe that's just not what I was looking for.
Yeah, and once again, I appreciated the lightness of it. I appreciated that they can take something so traumatic and make it fun and uplifting without taking away the fact that he was literally beating on his wife.
I like the little at the end of the song, Sophia's leaving. She grabs the baby from Harpo, and her and the other woman are standing in a line and they do like the little neck roll we love to do.
Oh yeah,
that was funny. That was funny. So yeah, I guess it's just, it wasn't what I was looking for, but it was fine. It looked great. Like I said, the choreography, the visuals, spectacular. Best I've seen in a while. It looks so freaking good. But I did feel a little wanting for more, or for something else.
Yeah, I can see that. What else you got? I guess fast forward in the movie, right? The other big thing, right? I would like to bring up is the forgiveness part. So in the original movie, when Nelly sends the letter, when Nettie sends the letter, and she's basically like, I'm in Africa, right? I'm in Africa with the children.
You know, that's one thing that I like that they did better. I feel like in the original film, the whole Africa arc, it felt
a little random.
It was a little out of place. It felt like I was watching a completely different movie.
Yeah.
But it was very Spielberg though. Like that part of it is very Spielberg.
What do you mean?
When I think about Spielberg, I think about Jurassic Park, and he loves like, how do I say it? Like I think Spielberg loves playing with nature and using like sort of like, I wish I could explain it. So, okay, right? I remember the original film. Celie was reading one of Nettie's letters, and she was saying, oh, I'm in Africa and I've seen all these animals, giraffes and elephants. And then we seen them. They showed them on screen, and just like the mood changed, and they had like music playing in the background, and it made me think of Jurassic Park, because Jurassic Park's all about just like the magnificence of nature, and admiring nature and appreciating nature and seeing the world around you. And in that sense, The Color Purple became an adventure film a little bit.
Hmm.
And I'm like, this is very Spielberg. And it did seem like I was watching a different movie.
In the original or this one?
In the original.
Okay.
And that's why I like why they did it better, because they kind of toned that down.
They still
wasn't
showed
so much.
They still showed the
They
Africans
showed it, but it
dancing
didn't
on the
last.
beach.
It didn't last. I love that scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God, with that scene. But I'm gonna get back to that. But it wasn't as drawn out as the original. The original, they went through everything that was happening in Africa. Like they were building like a railroad system that was going to tear through Nettie's village, and it.
No, the original
they
one,
shortened it.
yeah, that was like 20, like it's like 20, 25 minutes of just talking about what's happening in
I
Africa.
don't think it was that long, but it felt long.
It felt like
it felt long, and like I said, to me it seemed very Spielberg, but it did seem like at one point I was watching a complete different movie. I feel like I was watching Jumanji or some shit. Like, so I like how they handled this, but yes, that one scene where they show a clip of Nettie arriving with her nieces and nephews on the shores of, they never said where in Africa, but the tribe comes and they're dancing to welcome them. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. The costumes, beautiful. Everyone looked like royalty. They were wearing purple.
They were
wearing purple, which is associated with royalty. And I remember when Nettie said towards the beginning of the film, right before Celie was sold to Mister, she was like, my teacher told me that we're royalty over there and everything. Yeah. So for her to see that, it was mesmerizing, and they were just dancing. Like I said, choreography on a bean. The costumes were beautiful. That was spectacular, and it makes sense because the director Blitz, he is Ghanaian. So,
oh, is he? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing that I was getting at though,
Ghanaian, yeah.
was that when she reached out to get back from Africa back to Georgia, and she sent a letter, Nettie did, asking for her help. In the original one, after Celie cursed Mister, he went and he paid for her to come, and he doesn't talk to her anymore the rest of the movie. He's gonna pay for her to come. He sees when they reunite at the end, and he kind of goes away, and we know that there's some spiritual forgiveness in that because he brought her sister back to him. But in this movie, it was different. In this movie, that forgiveness arc, right? He talked to her even when Celie left and was successful, and her dad died, and she had all this inheritance now, and she started her own fancy pants store. He went. And
I also really like that number. In the fancy pants store, which is like, who's wearing the pants now?
Yeah.
And her pants were fire. I love how vibrant the colors were of her red outfit. That was beautiful. I really like that.
It was. And him going and buying those pants and saying, I just want to support your business. Pants. Yeah, I just want to support your business, right? I want to buy something no one's going to buy just to support your business. I think that was part of the reason why they were trying to move towards that forgiveness thing. And then when he actually brought her over, he made it known that I did this. You know what I mean? Like I invited some guests.
What brought who over?
Nelly and all the kids. At the
when he brought Nettie
end.
over.
When he brought Nettie and all the kids over, he was like, "Oh, I brought some guests. I hope you don't mind." And he made it obvious that he was the one who bought it over, and he actually sold his land. They made it more serious about how much he had to pay. He
sold half his land.
Yeah, he said some land. I don't know if he sold half, but they made it more obvious that he had to pay. It cost him to bring him over, because in the old movie he just went in his little savings and gave it to him. But this one,
did they show that?
They did in the original movie, but this one they actually showed that he went and sold part of his land, and the actual curse that Celie put on him. I curse, and everything you think of is gonna fail. Whatever she said. The scene itself, the cursing scene itself, seemed a little corny.
Why is that?
Just the way she kind of looked, like I curse you or whatever, seemed a little corny.
What was corny about her? Like she looked like she didn't believe it.
No,
she wasn't playing it well.
I don't know. When Whoopi Goldberg cursed him, I was like, "Dag, yo, that nigga cursed."
You felt like it was more powerful.
Yeah, right.
Let me see exactly.
And probably because the music around it, right? Maybe the music around it kind of downplayed the curse, if that makes sense. But no, all I'm trying to get at is that they made the redemption part of it a lot more apparent than the first movie because of those things,
Yeah, so I didn't like that at all, but I'm a bitter person.
You didn't like the forgiveness portion of it.
I didn't. I'm team F Mister. Let him die in a pool of urine and alcohol
Yeah.
in the swamp of the Juke Jam. Like I do not like him. When he came to the shop to buy her pans, I wanted her to say, "Get out. I never want to see you again." And that did happen in the original film, but he didn't come inside. Remember in the original, Celie looked out the window and I don't know if she saw Mister, but she saw Mister for a second standing outside. And then she looked again and he was gone. So I feel like Blitz took that one step further. And I get it. It's him being accountable, coming in, trying to right his wrongs. But I still feel like Celie should have been like, you. Like, I don't. And then you invite him to your Easter dinner. Why he got to be there? He talking to you and I don't like you. No. But, that's showing.
Celie.
That's show. I know. That's me personally. That's showing Celie's capacity for love.
Yeah.
And when I think about Fantasia, she said she loves playing Celie because her and Celie have the same hearts.
Yeah.
And I think that's a servant's heart.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a loving heart. That's a forgiving heart. She just has a pure heart. And it's like, okay, we all see the goodness of Celie, but me, no.
And once again, I think you're justified, or she would have been justified if she'd have been like, screw you, dude, get out. But even with the
she
curse,
gritzed him.
Even with the curse, right? It was like, until you do right by me. So even that inherently was giving him an out. Until you do right by me, everything you touch will be garbage.
And I love that. I love that in both films. I do agree it didn't hit as powerfully as the first one, but it was still powerful because it's literally Celie finally fully realizing her power.
Yeah.
Like, you have so much strength.
Mm-hmm.
And the world will change just by you saying it will.
Yeah.
Like, you are in charge of your own destiny and God is on your side.
Exactly.
And God is going to fight for you.
Exactly.
So it was beautiful. One thing I didn't like in the movie, though, I thought it was a little corny in the newer one, is when Mister was at his lowest of low and he actually fell asleep. Well, before, he was lying in the field, in his muddy field of his decrepit land that Celie cursed. Remember, all the bees came and they were tearing up his crops?
The beetles, yep.
And then they
the mailman found him?
Before that, this is before he fell asleep. They played that little flashback of Celie saying, "Until you do right by me, everything you have is going to crumble." And he's like, "Celie cursed me." I feel like they said too much. We already know what's happening. They made it. I feel like they were, you get it? You get what's happening? Celie cursed them. You get it? And it's like, we know, like, we're not dumb. Mm-hmm. Like, that was a little bit too direct. Like, some things don't need to be outwardly said. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna lie. And maybe it's because, get down, cat. This cat don't.
Well,
milkshake.
They want to.
You're so cute.
Want to make.
Get down, fat girl.
Make it known.
Milkshakes.
They want to make it known his intentions of what he did, of him going and trying to save her.
But you don't need to say it out loud. We already know it. You don't need to, like, that. We know what's going on. And not because we watched the first movie. We know. You don't have to spoon feed the audience. That, I did think that was a little corny. But I'm not going to lie. I did feel bad for Mister when he fell asleep in the field and the white postman found him. I was like, okay. But that may just be because I felt like, never mind. I did feel a little bad for Mister. But there was actually this one scene that Blitz said made Alice Walker, the original, the novelist of The Color Purple, cry. Remember that scene where Harpo's escorting Mister out of the Juke Jam, and Mister puts his chest on Harpo, his head on Harpo's chest, and said, "You did good, son."
Exactly. And
she said she started crying. Blitz said Alice Walker started sobbing.
Wow, because that part wasn't in the original either. In the original, he was just cold towards Harpo and didn't even want nothing to do with him, and that's what the whole redemption thing, where Harpo had to forgive him, right, for being the terrible father and the terrible influence. You know, he had to forgive his father. I guess he didn't really, but for also being a terrible influence.
His father's the only one who never, in both movies, he never saw the light. He just going to be a bitter old man for the rest of his life.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
Oh, we didn't talk. This is going back. I really liked Push the Button too. Push the Button was wild.
Yeah, that was wild. When they were basically grinding,
they were
slow dancing. Yeah,
they were. That was sex.
Yes, it was.
In that juke jam, I almost covered Trey's eyes. I said that was fire though. Like I said, the choreography is literally spectacular.
Spectacular.
Suge brought the house down.
Yes, he did.
She came through. She brought the house down. How'd you feel about her singing her song "The Silly"? She said, "Sister," Sister.
Oh yeah, I like that.
How'd you feel about her singing it at the house instead of at the juke jam?
The timing makes the timing made more sense in the new one, because in a juke jam, her singing to Celie was basically showing that she liked Celie. But
I think it made time in the original because you got to remember, Celie was nursing her back to help. Mr. tried, but Mr. couldn't cook.
Yeah,
Celie was the only. She ate Celie's food. Celie bathed her. So I think Sister made sense of the original because he's saying, "Hey, I like you. You were kind to me. You took care of me."
I know. That's what I'm saying. So that was like, "I like you" or whatever. This one at the end, I thought it was more meaningful, the song, because their relationship was able
Blossomed.
to grow and blossom over the years. Versus like, yeah, you were nice to me this past weekend, I made you a song. This is like, I wrote you a song. It's on my record, right? And I thought that was a little more touching, heartfelt.
Well, how did you feel? Yeah, Push the Button. I just want to say it again before I move on. Push the Button was fire.
Yeah, it was.
Favorite song? What about?
Yeah, Push the Button was a really good song.
But how did you feel when Suge finally got in Celie finally got in Suge's pants when they went to the movie theater and they made out?
Oh, that was extra. I wasn't expecting that. So in the original one, they just kind of just kissed or whatever
in the bedroom.
And then it was just like implied maybe something happened.
Yeah,
this one
something definitely happened.
Yes, but this one they woke up together in bed.
Yeah, but how did you feel? I kind of liked. Well, I don't know. I feel as though with the newer one, the love between Celie and Suge seems a bit more reciprocated. In the old one,
it was just a fascination.
In the old one, it seemed like obviously Celie is enamored with Suge.
Yep.
And Suge is fond of Celie. You know what I mean? She is a comforter and how do I say it? Like, but I didn't say that she loved Celie, like romantically loved Celie.
No, you're right.
This one, the love seemed more mutual.
No, I agree.
Even though it was Celie's fantasy, them sing. Remember, in the movie theater when they kissed and it was like a fantasy of them singing. That song was really sweet too. I thought it was really sweet.
Yeah, when they were walking down the stairs and everything.
Yeah, that was Celie's fantasy, but it did seem like the love was more mutual. You feel the same way?
No, I do, 100%. I thought that they kind of had a relationship.
They had a relationship, yeah.
More
Whereas
so.
in the first one, it was just kind of like,
one-time
Suge just turned her out in the first one.
Exactly.
Where this one, it's like, and I do like the humbleness of the first scene though. Like the humbleness of the first movie though. The first time
just how shy she was.
Yeah, it was like, she never experienced that sort of tenderness in her life.
Yeah.
So
also, this is 2023, so they can be a little more direct with it now, with their relationship.
Well, I'm not even talking about that outwardly admitting that they had sex. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the initial kiss scene. This one was a lot more glamorous. They're all dialed up in the movie theater. That one was just kind of like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm feeling. But this woman is literally taking interest in me and telling me I'm beautiful and like. Yeah. It seemed I liked the humility of the first one, but this one was nice too because like I said, it was like, oh, Celie seemed more confident. It seemed like we're giving Celie the things she did not get in the original film.
Yeah, which is hope or love or anything, or
just her. I don't know. She didn't, like you said, she didn't seem as such a simpleton as the first one.
Yeah, no.
Even though she wasn't a simpleton, she seemed. I guess we saw Celie's desires a bit more as opposed to things happening to Celie and Celie finding out about. I don't know how to describe it.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. It feels like she wanted the relationship with Suge, whereas in the first one she didn't know she wanted a relationship with Suge until
Suge turned her out. Yeah,
exactly. So,
But one thing I did not like, I thought it was so anticlimactic. Like I said before, Suge and her father coming together.
well, yeah, I thought in the original one they did a better job of them coming together. But
Trey, do you want to? Sorry.
what was I talking about?
I don't know. You saw Megan Thee Stallion on the screen and then you got distracted.
I did.
You were talking about Suge and her dad.
Yeah, okay.
Because I feel like in the original one, literally, like, there was just, it was well established that there was tension between her and her father.
Mm-hmm.
She'll come to the church, be like, hey, Pa. He won't talk to her. In the bathtub, she said it too. She said it too in the newer one. She said, my daddy loved me.
Yeah, you knew that you didn't.
But it just seemed so rushed. I don't know. Like the first one, the foundation was really laid that her daddy was not talking to her, and she made multiple attempts to reach out to him, and it had a profound effect on her.
Yeah.
So that ending scene when they all came singing to the church, you're like, finally, he sees her, he's accepted her, he forgives her. This was kind of like they sung one song and on the piano, and that was it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
No,
this is a musical. This is a musical.
Yeah.
How does the musical number in a movie that's not a musical bigger than the movie that's supposed to be a musical?
No, you're right. You're right. I think one, they were trying to save her from singing too much.
Girl, she sounded
decent.
She sounded fine. She sounded fine. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that I don't know. I think they were trying to prevent her from singing, and I think that
prevent Taraji from singing too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there were, even when she was Suge, I thought that she didn't sing nearly as much as she should.
Okay.
Have sung.
Okay. Even though she sounded great to me.
I thought she did too.
Yeah.
But it was obvious when Fantasia finally opened up towards the end of the movie that she was the best singer. Maybe her and Tamala in the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But so, what would you how would you rate this movie on a popcorn scale?
On the popcorn scale, a medium bag of popcorn.
Medium? Why medium?
A medium bag because, like I said 12,000 times, the choreography is A1. The visuals are beautiful. And they're hopeful. Even in a very depressing movie like this, how the way the movie looks just gives you hope. It's just beautiful to look at. The casting, who doesn't love Fantasia, Taraji, like Danielle Brooks? I've seen her in other things, but every time I see her, she's good. You know, and The Color Purple, depressing as it may be, it's a good story. It's hard. It's a hard story to mess up.
Yeah.
So, I think the casting did it really well. Choosing people who mostly look like the original cast.
Yeah.
And choosing people who I believe are close to how they were originally written in the book. So, yes, I enjoyed myself. Would I watch it again? Absolutely, I'll watch it again. You know, it was really fun to see. It makes me want to see it on Broadway. But it gets a medium bag of popcorn and not a large bag of popcorn because, for like the reason I said, it felt rushed.
Yeah.
It felt like they treated the viewers as if you guys know the story. You've seen it before. Let's go on. When it's like, this is your time to retell it and to refamiliarize us with it. And I don't think y'all did that well. I feel like there were a lot of missed opportunities for the music. So many. And yeah, that's my two biggest qualms. But wouldn't be a big thing if this wasn't a musical. Like I said, I felt like this movie couldn't decide if it wanted to be a musical or not. So that's why I get a medium bag of popcorn. Still a watch that, John. Go watch it. But it just wasn't what I expected. You have big powerhouse names like this in music, and it just didn't deliver to me. And yeah, and like I said, I hate a movie that I feel like isn't paced well. I'm not saying this isn't paced well. It just could have been paced better, in my opinion. So medium back for me. What do you think?
I'll probably give it a medium as well. I think the content is still pretty heavy. I was still kind of traumatized by the ice cream scene where
Oh my God,
where
Sophia's.
Sophia was essentially just didn't want to be this white lady's maid, and she was in prison in that small little cell for 6 years.
That scene hurt as bad as the original.
Yeah, it did.
Even though Sophia's eye wasn't as busted up
Busted up.
as Oprah's was, it's still, I cried.
Yeah.
I did tear up when she was in that jail cell, and she was like, Celie, please don't leave.
Yeah.
Celie came every day. I was
Every
just like,
week,
she has such a servant's heart. Like, she's just Celie. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that was good. That was one thing I think was on par with the original film.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I don't know. I thought the music was great. I thought the choreography was great. I caught myself singing. Not singing, dancing. I didn't know the words to sing it. I thought the acting was really good.
Yeah.
There were some, like you said, some awkward parts. I was like, that's a little corny. But some other parts more than made up for it. Just, I also like the forgiveness, that tone of it. It was very Christian tone, very spiritual church feel. Even when the actors were talking about it in the interviews, they also talked about how much this movie was blessed. They didn't say blessed. They said ordained.
Anointed or something
Anointed.
like that.
There we go.
Well, it makes sense because when the book starts off, the first thing Celie says is, "Dear God."
Yeah.
So she said, "I just need someone to explain what's happening to me." So I think it's a plea to God. Like, it's her having a conversation with God and trying to figure out what's going on in her life and get some clarity. So it does make sense that this movie has a lot of spiritual undertones. Not even undertones. It's front and center.
Yeah. So I guess the execution I would give a large, in my opinion. Right. I thought they did the musical really well. I didn't mind the pacing because the movie's long. Anyways, I didn't necessarily want it longer, but I'll give it a medium because, like I said, the content, the heart of it, the color purple. Like
See, that doesn't ruin it for me because, like, I would give the original a large bag of popcorn, even though I hate it, because it's still a good movie.
It's a good movie.
It's just terrible.
Yeah,
but I'm
so
not going to diminish it just because it's terrible.
No, I guess so. I guess then I'll give it a large then.
Okay.
On that, because I have no reason not to give it a large. I think people should go watch it. I think it's worthy to be one of the biggest Christmas movies. I think the last 14 years or so. So yeah, go watch that, John.
It's a good movie, guys. It's a good movie. I had a good time. It's just I wouldn't give it a large. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Watch That John podcast. This episode was recorded live, in person.
Yeah,
So
we
we're
don't do that
thankful.
often
Yeah, we don't do it often, but we're together
because you live in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're together at the holidays and right outside the city of brotherly love. So please be on the lookout for other episodes coming soon. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, where else you find your podcasts.
And I know we've been releasing episodes late. Bear with us. The holidays have been dragging us by our edges. So we've just been scrambling to get these episodes done. So we apologize for the delay.
Yeah, and we'll come back stronger in 2024.
Hopefully. No promises.
But thanks for listening. I'm James.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's Mary.
Oh.